Yeah, this is part two. I'm touching on Hinton Jr. that in Cincinnati they ran into that cop and killed him. Well, I feel bad for both sides really because I don't know what I would have felt and what I would have done if I had saw that on the phone and the news on my phone. If I had saw them dirty cops killing that boy like that, because like I said, I didn't see no gun, and I didn't see him point no gun at no cop when he was running away. And it's a sensitive topic because everybody got something to say about it, and they supposed to. You know, the way that cop killed his son like that. See, that's the first thing these dirty cops do. You know, cover their ass. Oh, he's got a gun. He's got a gun. She's got a gun. Blah blah. That just amps them up more. And when they find out the person didn't have a gun, it's a whole different ball game, a whole different story. And I feel like I don't know if I would have ran into no cop because my heart ain't that like that. You know what I'm saying? But I would be just as upset, maybe more, like Hinton Jr. is because what he saw happen to his son. I would feel angry too and wouldn't have no remorse and no apology and no respect even more for cops, because when they took the oath to join the force, they took the oath of and under Jesus Christ to serve and protect the public. And there's a certain percentage that uphold that, but then you got that 30, 40, sometimes 50% of them that don't abide by what they raise their hand in the air and put their hand on the Bible for. And that goes for the women too, black, white, foreign. You ain't exempt from this either. So don't think you are. Because women done showed their ass too. Anyway, internet's flooded with this catastrophe. Cause I've been scrolling for at least an hour, and I'm coming up with all kind of things pertaining to that shooting. A lot of people agree with Hinton Jr. because of what he saw on his phone, and that cop lying, screaming to his partner that was chasing him that he had a weapon and he didn't. Well, he did, but he threw it down. And I seen it on the video. He threw it down. He didn't have anything. And old dude shot about 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 shots and killed him. Just like that. If anything, Hinton Jr. shouldn't have killed a good cop. I'm with him too because he was a Marine. And from what I was told, you know, there was a lot of good things said about him. He wasn't bothering nobody. You know, he was just doing his job as a traffic cop. He was the sacrifice because of what happened to Hinton Jr.'s son. If anything, If he was gonna run his car into a cop, he should do them dirty ones that be doing dirt and getting away with it all the time. You know, getting on administrative leave with pay, them kind of cops. That, you know, it's still cases here in Ohio, that Columbus, that are coming up, and they're with dirty cops that have not served and protected. Yeah, they served all right. They shot somebody and killed them, and there's no evidence to prove why they did it. And the public is angry. You know, the public is not happy with law enforcement. Now, like I said in other videos, I will never say nothing bad about a good cop. I done made 2 videos to this topic, yesterday and today, and I've never said anything bad about the cop that was ran over like that. He didn't deserve that. He really didn't. You know, and I put my hand on the Bible and say it. He didn't deserve to die like that. Because he didn't do anything. He was a sacrifice. He was the target of anger, and he was the target of someone's son dying. I understand him too, how he was feeling. He had no remorse, and he probably never will. You know, and by watching all these different videos on this subject all over the internet, a lot of people are on this brother's side, Hinton Jr. But then there's people on the cop side, you know, the sheriff. They got killed like that. It's a sensitive topic. I mean, you got to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, man. Everybody reacts differently to certain things like this. They don't do all the same things somebody else would do, but most people, from what I'm hearing, is they don't have no respect for the law enforcement anyway. Whether it's in Cincinnati, whether it's in any other state, city, township, country, state, they don't. They have zero tolerance for cops. I mean, there's some good ones. I have to say that because it is. For every good, there's bad. For every bad, there's good. You got to think of it like that. Just because a few, well, I ain't going to say a few, it's increasing. More dirty cops, you know, are getting away with stuff. And it's a secret society on the police force. I know. I got friends, and I have family. But they're going to all stick by each other. They're going to all lie for each other, protect each other. The women and the men. Doesn't matter. But right is right and wrong is wrong. When you separate all the information that you may get from the other work friends you work with. But you got to realize, and I'm talking to these cops right now, any of them, when you take that oath to do this job, expect your ass to get shot at, or somebody trying to kill you or maim you or hurt you. I'm talking to you women too. You better stay on your game. That's what you better do. In other words, you better stay on your P's and Q's and watch your back. Because your friends and your buddies and your coworkers ain't going to always be able to do that. You're going to do it for yourself. And if you're with the Lord, you better ask Him for protection. Because that's all you got. Just because you got a gun don't mean you're going to make it through this job alive. If you're lucky. You better stay prayed up. If you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. But you got cops that are continually doing dirt on the force, and you got their supervisors, lieutenants, colonels, captains, you know, people in authority over them that's covering for them and lying for them and protecting them. Well, this brother, he didn't care because he felt like he had nothing else to lose, and because of his son being killed like that. How would you feel if you seen somebody on the news or on your phone run into a car, or not into a car, but into a police officer on the sidewalk and just kill him instantly? How would you feel? But on the flip side, how would you feel if somebody killed your child like that? He didn't have a chance to grow up, get married, have kids of his own. You know, be an uncle, be a cousin, have his friends around, you know, family members that love him. See, it's easy to pull the trigger and kill somebody when you in that mode, you know, that angry mode or scared mode or whatever mode. Or maybe you had a bad day and you and your wife got into it, or your girlfriend or one of your relatives or whatever. And then you bring all of that on the job and take it out on people. Whether they innocent or not, you're supposed to leave that back home. Don't bring that on the job. That just increases what you're going to go through when you got to do your job. So then you're going to make mistakes. Then you're going to take things for granted and people for granted. Just because you got power, because you got a weapon or weapons, you know, it's definitely not satisfactory when you keep saying somebody you chasing or whatever, whoever, woman or man, they got a weapon, and then when the camera's on you, you know, you telling your friend he got a gun, pop, 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 pop. Well, I didn't see it. I seen it after the fact. I didn't see him, I seen him running, you know, and I didn't see him point no gun at no cop. He couldn't catch them, that's why. He couldn't catch them. Probably was a fat ass cop out of shape, pork eating son of a bitch anyway. Maybe he wasn't, but the point is you didn't catch him and you couldn't. So the only way you feel you could catch him is by shooting him. And you did. Got this bitch ass cop that did this a couple days ago. I mean, I would be mad too. I would be furious. I don't know if I would run down a cop like that. I wouldn't do that. I know I wouldn't, because my heart ain't like that. But then again, I'm not saying no dude shouldn't have felt the way he felt for that cop killing his son like that. He's supposed to feel something like that. Anybody. There's been countless cases here similar to that. You know, he took it out on the police force because he's looking at the aspect, well, you killed my son. What, you think I'm gonna just let it go and nothing else happens? No consequences for these dirty cops to be doing this stuff? Well, you found out the hard way. And one of your favorite cops that everybody liked, he got sacrificed. Not for what he did, but for what one of them dirty cops on the force in his clique of cops, the sheriff's department up there in Cincinnati, did. So, and by coming in the courtroom and trying to intimidate old dude, he wasn't intimidated. I told you, he ain't scared of you, or he wouldn't have done what he done. So, it's a sensitive, really bad situation, a sensitive topic, and everybody loses, nobody wins. Not like this. Oh, dude ain't gonna win through the courts because they trying to keep him from getting out. No bond. The cop that did it, he ain't getting out of shit either, because the boy didn't have no gun pointing at him when he was running. And he gonna have a hard time explaining that. Camera never lies. See, what you do, what you say on camera, especially if it's negative, or whatever act you do on camera, you can't lie out of that. You can't. That's why I'm learning through others that if some stuff like this happens, folks need to be filming. You know? I mean, cops pull you over, they got cameras. Now they wearing them. They wasn't at first, because they were trying to hide shit. And their precincts all over the world and the country, it's mandatory to have it on. If you don't have it on, they're going to get penalized. They're going to get in trouble. But we got to do the same thing. We got to make sure we have our phones on when they pull us over, or doing something they ain't supposed to be doing to somebody. Be filming. Have that phone on. Have that phone on camera. As soon as you see some stuff you don't need to be seeing, and some stuff that shouldn't be done, that's negative from these cops, even the women, you better be filming. So you can have evidence. Evidence is the key to it all. You know, if somebody say they did something, or say a cop did something to them, then you better have some evidence to back it up and prove it. Because if you don't, you ain't gonna win the case. You ain't gonna have enough to convict. Seeing is believing, but so is hearing, so is feeling. You know, that's believing. But confirmation is when you got it on tape. And confirmation is when you can show the court system what's on there. When someone tries to deny, they didn't do this and they didn't do that for whatever they were accused of or in court for. But when you got a camera, when you got evidence, then all of whatever they saying, it's irrelevant. It's out the window, because they got it on tape. And I said, you know, seeing is believing. So is hearing, and so is feeling. See? And witnesses are even more. They got the same thing you got. They filming. Most cops will try to destroy that evidence because they don't want to get caught. But then you're going to have to, as soon as you film it, you send it to somebody. So you'll have a extra copy. So these cops can't get out of this shit. Especially the ones that's continually doing it. And their departments is protecting them. Just because they are part of the system of being a cop. Right is right, wrong is wrong, dumbass. Simple as that. Ain't no in-betweens. You know, took this boy away from his father. Now you done took the father away from the family. See, that's dirty. He didn't have no remorse. Why should he? You killed his son for no reason. You could have tackled him or something like that. But no, you wanted to shoot. You did. But you got to pay for it in some way, shape, or form. It's like they did Rodney King. See, Rodney King was a punk. When I say that, he wasn't trying to fight back. Especially, I mean, he had a chance to, fight back, but he wasn't that type of person. He was scared of the guy that put the handcuffs on him and was sitting on his neck, Chauvin. I ain't gonna say he was a punk because I'm saying he could have not let him do that to him. That's all I'm saying. But it is what it is. I'm sorry it happened. It hurt me deeply. And still does when I think about it, talk about it, or I see it on the news like I did earlier today. Cops can fill you out. That's why I said, man, some cops know you scared of them. They gon' really try to rough you up and abuse you and all that. But if they know you ain't that kind of person, that they gon' get that overall form, male or female, oh no. They're gonna have to get drastic measures. In other words, they got to get other cops because they know, and even if they big, don't mean nothing. Because they know they ain't dealing with no average scared person that's afraid of them, or their badge, or their gun, or whatever. So they got to get at least a handful or more, including the women, because they know they're going to have a battle. They're going to have a problem. And everybody don't like to take instructions. Everybody don't like to be told what to do. Especially by no aggressive-ass cops. See? Oh, no. You get one of them docile motherfuckers that do everything they say because they scared. They gonna play them. They gonna punk them right off. But somebody who ain't scared of them, somebody who don't give a fuck what they say, and will challenge everything they try to do, them's them type of motherfuckers that the cops is worried about, leery of. A lot of cops, man, they punks. They can't fight. They just got a bunch of guns on them and got to back up a fucking cop friends on the force with them. But like I said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You killed my son, so I'm gonna kill one of your cops, your cop friends. And that's exactly what happened. I'd have been angry too. We all would have been. I mean, there's a lot of people on the internet that supports old dude, Hinton Jr., for what he did. Because he couldn't see, he can't see his son no more. He was coming, I think, to pick him up or whatever. Whatever he was going to do, going to see him or, going over to his relative's home or going home, period. But when he seen that on the news and he found out it was his son that got shot by the police force in Cincinnati, the sheriff's department, how would you feel? You can't say this, that, and this what somebody is thinking and feeling when they see something like that. Especially if it's somebody in their family that they love, that's real close to them. Like your daughter, like your son, nephew, cousin, sister, brother, father, mother, aunties, uncles. So, nobody wins yet. But I believe that he's going to be able to make some kind of bail, some kind of way. Some kind of miracle's going to come out of all this. but it ain't gonna happen right away. It's gonna be a minute. So, you know, I feel bad for both sides, like I said earlier, because that was an innocent cop that should have never died like that. I mean, we all gonna die, but not like that, tragically. And then, old dude gets his son killed by the same police force that old dude ran over. But to be honest, I'm with the brother who was taking up for his son in some kind of way. But I ain't saying it's right that he did it like that, but who cares when you mad and you hear about your relative getting killed by the cops? The cops has got a bad reputation here in the United States and all over the world, man. They get away with some. If you could catch every dirty cop doing shit while they on the force to others, especially people of color, black people, but it's other cultures too. If you could catch all of the dirt they do, it wouldn't be no police force. Because people would be not just protesting, but they would be fighting these cops back. You know, there's countless cases that I've talked on all over the country, some overseas. It's terrible. But like I said, you know, he should have ran over one of them dirty cops that's been doing dirt behind the police badge and the gun for lots of days, weeks, months, and years. Should have got one of them. Then it'd be even Steven. You killed mine, I killed yours. But it's still the same thing now. The only problem is the cop that was killed, I feel sympathy for him. Because he wasn't involved in that, even though he was from that same department, but old dude didn't care. When he saw what he saw, he didn't care. Whoever's in his path, that's what they gonna get. So, and he ain't scared of no cops. Cause I seen him in the courtroom looking at him face to face while they coming in there trying to intimidate him. Didn't work. And he said something like, either he's gone for a long time or he ain't never coming back or something like that. So he stood up to him. He ain't no punk. He stood up to him and looked him dead in the face. He got a right to, because they killed his son and lied. Cops are liars. You can't believe them. It's only, I say, maybe 50% of cops that don't lie. I ain't gonna say no more than that, because most of them, they dirty. They liars. And they always making false reports and always getting their buddies trying to cover up for them dirt that they done to somebody. Their supervisors over their supervisors, all the way to chain, all the way up. To the chain of command. But time will tell what's gonna happen later. I've been watching, and a lot of others have been watching too. So, I'm tired. I mean, of hearing it, seeing these type of things. You know? But, I'm gonna hang in there. And we'll see what happens later.